Tanzania's total population is 52,482,726. Tanzania's birth rate is 36.550 births per 1,000 people, and their death rate is 7.6 deaths per 1,000 people. Tanzania is a multilingual country, but their two official languages are English and Swahili. Tanzania has two major religions, Christianity and Islam. Tanzania is culturally diverse. They have over 120 indigenous ethnic groups, and each of their ethnic group has their own language and culture. Some examples of tribes are Hadza people, Maasai, Iraq, Haya, etc. The capital city of Tanzania is Dodoma. On December 9, 1961, Tanganyika became an independent republic and became known from then on as Tanzania. Tanzania got its independence from the British. Tanzania is surrounded by lakes and national parks. Northeast Tanzania is mountainous, while central Tanzania is covered in grasslands. The major economic issues in Tanzania are poor management of public finance, widespread corruption, and an underdeveloped legal framework that weakens the rule of law. HIV is the leading cause of death in Tanzania. Other diseases in Tanzania are cholera, hepatitis A and B, malaria, and many others. Tanzania's flag was adopted in 1964. The flag consists of an upper green triangle and a lower blue triangle. The triangles are divided by black and yellow band.
The United Republic of Tanzania was first established from the interim constitution of 1965 through the merging of until then the independent and separate countries of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. The permanent constitution was then later approved in 1977 and revised in 1984 to include a Bill of Rights. Although merged, Zanzibar to this day has its own separate constitution, first approved in 1979 and then revised in 1985, in which its political bodies deal with more internal matters. Tanzania's form of government is specifically a unitary presidential multi-party republic. The current head of state is President John Magufuli, who also acts as head of government. Tanzania's major exports include coffee, cashew nuts, cotton, and gold. Gold being the nation's most valuable and profitable, in the past contributing to almost 2/3 of the nation's total export earnings. Other important exports include agricultural goods, gemstones, and textiles. On the other hand, the country's major imports include consumer goods, machinery and transport equipment, industrial raw materials, and crude oil. The nation's external debt is estimated at $17.66 billion as of December 2017. External debt being the total public and private debt owed to non-residents or foreigners outside the country. Tanzania is therefore ranked 97th highest in external debt in comparison to the world. Some of Tanzania's more famous or well-known natives include Diamond Platnumz, one of the country's highest-paid musicians, and Hashim Thabit Menka, who has played for various teams in the NBA, including the Memphis Grizzlies, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and more. Given that Tanzania's population consists of more than 120 different tribes, each with their own specific and unique cuisine and customs, popular meals and dishes tend to similarly vary with a few exceptions. One major commonality is a diet largely based around a staple carb or major starch, which tends to change depending on the area. Arguably considered by some as the country's national dish, but especially common within the central regions, is ugali, a stiff dough made from mashed maize, cassava, millet, or sorghum, served alongside a stew or sauce containing meat, fish, beans, or vegetables. Next, given the preference for rice along the coast, it follows that pilau, a mixture of rice and spices such as curry, cinnamon, cumin, hot peppers, or cloves, is first a popular coastal staple as well as a common sight during many important ceremonial occasions. Other popular dishes within Tanzania include nizikanga, which are fried plantains, and mandazi, a type of fried bread prepared as a dessert. Due to the relative scarcity of human settlement, mainland Tanzania has an abundance of amazing wildlife. Mammal species native to Tanzania include the wildebeest, elephants, zebras, giraffes, rhinos, lions, and leopards. Crocodiles and hippopotamuses are also a frequent sight along river and lake beds. However, due to the persistent threat of poaching, almost 25% of the country's land has now been set aside for national parks and nature reserves in order to protect the many threatened and endangered species. Famously, Jane Goodall conducted her monumental research on chimps within the Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania. The plant life of mainland Tanzania is extremely varied depending on the elevation and precipitation. Forests flourish in the highlands where rain is bountiful. Floodplains and plateaus with poor drainage consist of grasslands. And deserts, bushlands, and thickets can be found in areas with a lack of precipitation. While a lack of government and private funding has limited formal development of the arts within Tanzania, artisans and their works are able to be supported and recognized worldwide thanks to the nation's thriving tourist industry. The most famous and renowned being the abstract ebony pieces of Makonde carvers, as well as the famously elaborate carved doors and Arab chests of Zanzibar. In terms of cultural contributions, the Olduvai Gorge in the Great Rift Valley within Tanzania is where some of the earliest remains of human ancestry dating back 1.75 million years ago have been discovered. This includes the famous Zinjanthropus boisei skull discovered by Mary Leakey in 1959, which is now displayed at the country's National Museum. In addition, multiple features within the nation have been recognized as UNESCO or United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage Sites, which are landmarks or areas that are selected for their significant cultural value and are therefore internationally protected. Some of Tanzania's most treasured sites include the rock painting sites at Kondoa, the ruins of the ancient ports of Kilwa Kisiwani and Songo Manara, and the stone town in Zanzibar. Overall, Tanzania is a magnificent country, overflowing in rich culture, art, history, nature, and wildlife, all in addition to the amazingly diverse, inspiringly resilient, and beautiful people that make the nation so incredibly special.